Hey, Bigfoot, we're here! Several years ago, and there was a reporter from Lake Geneva who was going to do a documentary on us. Never happened, but Mary, I think her name was Jessica, they were standing right here, and it was completely dark, right? We were walking back. I was, see where that tree is as the hill inclines a little bit? Right there. And I looked kitty corner around this curve, and I saw this orange light coming down the path. And it was kind of loud like this. And I start walking up to the girls, and I'm like, I didn't say that.
Sandhill crane.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, shh, we have company. I said that. And this thing was going right around the bend. And I was walking here, and I really quickly started walking that way, and I had my Seek thermal. Because I'm like, who is it? Who's out here with it? But there was nobody there. There was no heat signature. And the odd thing is that it was orange. It wasn't like a light LED or a bright white LED or a red or a green. It was orange, and it was moving real swiftly. So it was weird.
Well, that's a pretty common color I've found from speaking with witnesses of anomalous light activity.
Yeah.
As often as not, people will report orange orbs, actually. And I'm not talking like dust or insects or anything. Like seen with the naked eye.
Yeah.
If somebody sees an actual glowing ball of light, I think orange and probably white are the two most common colors, like by far. And there really isn't anything that color, orange, that you would expect to see. Like it doesn't lend itself to any kind of easy explanation.
Right.
Orange flame does appear though when you burn iron.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because Wisconsin is known for its iron deposits.
So maybe some sort of like
But that's
undiscovered natural phenomenon.
Not saying they're related, but it is an interesting fact. Being the
it's
iron.
worth considering.
Yeah.
Open minded skeptic. Just say it's a freaking alien, dude.
I can't do that on camera.
Yes, you can.
No, it is
Say it.
interesting. I don't hold a lot of value in how this works.
Sure.
Because I think it's just boom, boom. But I am open-minded enough to go along with it, like, fully.
So you're saying if Tobias jumped off a bridge, you would jump off with him?
Immediately. I would hold his hand going off that bridge.
I am deeply offended by your opinion of the Estes method, but deeply touched by your willingness to commit suicide with me off a bridge. So thank you.
No, I'm willing to go into it without thinking like it's a joke or it's dumb or anything like that. But I'm not going in thinking like this is the premier method to do it.
That's the only honest way to do it.
You know he's only saying this because he's getting recorded. He won't say it when he's being recorded.
Sure.
No,
because it'll go around as a meme.
No, I'm fully on board with it, and I think this is a good setting for it because it's not like we're in this is a haunted house or this is like noted spirit activity. It's just like out here. So I'm actually interested to see what I hear compared to what you guys ask.
Sure. So what we're going to do here is something called an Estes method, and so what we're trying to do is essentially remove confirmation bias from the use of a spirit box. And so we're going to do that by restricting Adam's senses. So we're going to give him these noise canceling headphones. And so these are studio grade headphones. So they can cancel something like, 150 decibels or more. So he'll have these on, and he'll have this sleep mask that'll block all light, and so he'll have no idea what we're asking, and he's just going to listen for something coming through the spirit box, and he's going to say whatever he hears, and we will see if that corresponds with the questions we're asking. And so if it does, and then maybe that is providing evidence of some sort of external manipulation and communication by some sort of entity.
Now, can you quick explain why is it believed that like spirits or entities, whatever would use like shifting radio stations and stuff like that?
No, that's a great question. From what I am familiar with, the reason I think would be because it is an easier form of communication. Like they are able to manipulate sounds within that frequency, or there are some people who believe that they are only able to communicate through certain frequencies. It's honestly, a lot of it's pretty murky for me in terms of real scientific explanation of the actual mechanism. I think I've always sort of landed more on the camp of it's some sort of a manipulation of either existing stimuli, like basically like reforming the static into the sounds that they want to communicate with people, or a sort of manipulation of human consciousness to interpret the static in the way that they want you to in order to communicate. Obviously, I don't have any firm beliefs. I just, those are some things I like to entertain.
Yeah,
all right, so take those off for a second. And what I'll do is you can put those on, and then
we're just gonna run away on it.
Please don't do
just
that.
all leave. No,
He started having those questions. The chairs are gone.
for real. So when I want to begin, like I literally will just like do this, and then I'll do the same thing once we're done. So you'll know, because otherwise you'll have no idea, because you're not gonna be able to see or hear anything.
Well, so you're gonna have control over this?
No, you will.
Okay.
So yeah, I want you to have control over that, because what you're going to be listening for is not necessarily random words coming through the radio, but rather like if you hear something that sort of sounds like it's coming from underneath that.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So then the power, it's on, and then I hit sweep rate to begin.
Yeah, if you hold down sweep rate, it'll start sweeping.
Okay.
Alright, so... Okay, so... Can you hear us? Can you hear anything we're saying? Anything at all? Adam is the worst. Oh man, Adam is a huge jerk. Hate that guy. Okay, I don't think he can hear us. Alright, you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, so here we are in the...
Really?
Yes, we are really here in the Kettle Moraine State Forest. And the last time...
Possible.
The last time we had one of these sessions, we were at home, and we were trying to communicate with something that some friends of ours had communicated with that claimed to be responsible for some winged humanoid sightings. And so I'm curious to know if there's something...
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I'm curious to know if there's something with us tonight, and if you're here, if there is something you want to tell us. Because last time we communicated with something in our home, it told us to wait, which we did. And now here we are again attempting communication. Of course, we are in an area of Wisconsin known for a number of strange sightings, including winged humanoids, actually.
Oh. I don't know what it's on right now.
Okay, so he just... Hold on.
If you could go to like 350. Thank you.
All right, so that's more proof. Adam cannot understand anything that we are doing out here. He can't hear us. You can't see us, nothing.
Is it okay that I have my camera light on?
Sure.
You are kind.
We are kind.
I'm going to put my hands up. See if it's a greeting.
Yeah. Thank you. We hope and expect that you are kind as well. Thank you for welcoming us to this area and allowing us to be here. We come as explorers, of course. We're
Here.
curious. And we very much want to communicate. And so if there's anything that you would like us to know, we would very much appreciate if you would tell us.
Slow.
Are you the same entity that we were communicating with in our home, or are you something or someone else?
Hundreds.
Are there many of you? Is that what you're trying to say? There are hundreds of potential entities with whom we could be communicating, of which you are just one?
Dark.
What do you say? Dark. Do you have a name? And would you be willing to tell
Terrible.
us? Okay. Is there something that we could call you?
Supposed to.
What is it that we are supposed to call you? Is there something that...
It's real.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have any questions? I'm sort of at a loss here. I don't...
What happened?
Well, we're trying to communicate with you, and we're trying to kind of have a conversation. So, I guess I want to go back to when you said it's real. What did you mean?
Where are you?
Are you looking for somebody? Are you trying to reach somebody else, and we're the ones trying to contact you?
Well, we are in the Kettle Moraine State Forest.
Right.
That's in southeastern
Me.
Wisconsin. Where are you? Can you tell us where you are?
It's a gift.
Is your gift your ability to communicate with us here tonight?
All this. We're here.
Are you in the Kettle Moraine State Forest with us?
Yes. Where are you?
Around the world.
So not necessarily. So you can communicate over vast distances.
Are you there?
Yes, we are here.
We are here. So you don't necessarily have to be what we would conceive of as physically present.
Yes.
Huh. Alexis gave me some chills.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, I would love to. So, when people see strange things in this forest, can you tell us what they're seeing?
This place.
This place, is there something unique about this place that allows people to see strange things? What is it that they're seeing? Are they seeing you, or are they seeing something else? Something else? Someone else? We just want to know what people have been experiencing, what we've been experiencing. This is something that's important to us, trying to understand our own experiences. And so we would be so grateful for any understanding that you could provide.
Right now.
Well, what is it about this place?
Something.
You don't seem to be willing to tell us what is special about the kettle. Is there some reason for that? Why can't we know? Why is it we aren't supposed to know what's happening here? And I'm sorry if somehow that question has offended you. We very much want to understand what's going on here. When people report seeing a bipedal dog man, what are they really...
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. We are holding on. Just give us a...
2 cars.
Well, I did hear a car in the distance there.
Yep.
It's hot.
It has been warm today.
Yep.
It is. Is it warmer here than where you are? Where are you if it's colder than here? Is it that you exist in many places? Are you capable of a sort of non-local
Near.
existence? You say near or mirror?
Near.
Near?
Near. Which is interesting.
Are you nearby us now? Have you moved since we started communicating, or are there other
I think.
things? Are there other things?
You think you're near us? Do you know where you are? Because it seemed like...
It's here.
Okay.
Okay, what's here? What was near but is now here? Are you trying to tell us that something is coming? You don't really see anything. Are we not alone? What's with us? If something is here with us, we would very
Yes,
much-
sir.
Would you be willing to tell us what is with us?
Everybody.
So you mentioned that there were hundreds of you before. Is this to say that not only have we brought you here, or you have come here, but also the others that you mentioned before have also come? So you're all here with us now? If so, what do you want?
31. God.
31 of you.
Now.
Is there something that we can do for you? Is there something that you want?
I want to go.
Oh,
Where is it that you would want? Where is it that you want to go?
Now.
Did we somehow summon you here, and you're asking for us to release you because you don't want to be here anymore? Are we somehow holding you here?
Pray.
Okay, I'm gonna do something and end this.
okay.
So anything, any presence, any entity, any intelligence that has been summoned here tonight by us, you are freed. You are no longer bound to this place. You are no longer required to be in our presence. We wish for you to go in peace and to sever all contact and communication for the time being.
Here's.
Hey, did that startle you, by the way?
That scared the crap out of me.
I told you I was going to do it.
It was so weird because I didn't even feel like I was in the woods.
Yeah, well, it's complete sensory deprivation.
Like, I felt like I was sitting in a house. I couldn't really feel the wind. It didn't feel like I was outside in any way,
That's
shape, or
so
form.
weird. Okay.
Because I feel the wind in the air.
I mean, there's air currents here for sure.
Like, I felt nothing until you, like, tapped me, and then it was just like, whew.
Oh, that's bizarre. What was it like listening to everything?
Okay, there was one time, like, it was just getting in this rhythm of click, 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 and it was kind of like putting it like in a trance type, and then all of a sudden there'd be a voice, and some voices like you'd hear and it's like, whatever, and then some would be like really loud, and it's like, okay, but at one point, like from this side, and I remember like turning my head.
Yeah, I saw you do that.
Honestly, I'm not even messing around. It sounded like there was like a woman or a woman's voice like on this side, completely separate from the click, 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 click. And it like caught my attention, and for a minute I was like, this is scary as fuck. And then it's just like, wait a minute, okay, hold on, it's gone now. And I don't know if it was just my body is just like, I don't know where I am right now.
Yeah.
But it was a very weird feeling.
Well, from the questions we were asking, like it seemed like it started out weird, like it didn't seem like much was really happening. And then we sort of got into a kind of flow of conversation where it seemed like something was telling us that, oh gosh, how did it all go down? Because I don't want to get it wrong. It was something like there was something communicating with us, but it wasn't by us. Like it was somewhere else in the world. And then over the course of the conversation, like, you know, it told us that there were, you know, hundreds of it, and, you know, that it was just one of multitudes, and then that it came here, and
That's really weird to hear.
it's super weird, and that a bunch of the other ones came with it, and that, you know, they were nearby us, and then it sort of seemed like they didn't want to be here, and they wanted us to let them go, as though somehow the act of performing this Estes Method session sort of summoned them and required and bound them to be here. So then I released them and told them that they could go, and that's when I like shook your shoulder to get you out of it.
Like, I'm not making any of this up. Like, as I was sitting there, it was just like, you know, it was darkness, and it was just that click, 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 click. And like I said, it didn't feel like I was outside in any way. Like, I couldn't feel like the wind or anything. I was just kind of like in a black room. But it felt almost if I was sitting here, it felt like from this side, something got like right here. And like I saw this like pink line in my mind that was like really jagged. And that's like when I turned my head to the right, and it was there for a bit, and then it was just like gone. And then I was just like, okay.
Was that towards the end, or?
It was whenever I turned my head.
Okay.
But it was a very weird, because I got this distinct visual in my mind of just this like pink line that was going up, and that's when it felt like someone was right.
The biggest one that I took from it was we said 2 cars, and right before that happened, we heard the squealing out in the distance of a car.
Yeah.
It would,
That was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was
like
weird.
it felt like I was in just a bedroom with nothing in it, because I could not sense like being in the woods at all. I couldn't feel like anything because my mind was so in tune to. There was a lot of stretch where it was just nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just nothing.
Well, see, while you were doing the speaking, I was doing the telepathy.
Okay.
Because you know, on my end, I guess it all depends on what field you're doing it from, whether it's extraterrestrial, ghosts, Bigfoot, or whatnot. And I always felt that, or at least I've heard that people have been mind spoke to, which they claim by Bigfoot. I mean, who knows, right?
Sure.
So I'm thinking we're out in the environment, and what a better way to use the and I wasn't trying to tread your questions. What I was doing was doing the number 5 with my hand physically and mentally. And I think I would have crapped my pants if he said 5. You know, because it would be something that you guys didn't know about that I was doing, but that would have gone to a place where they wouldn't need to hear us verbally. So I was just sitting there going like this and just repeating 5,
Right.
5, 5. That's it. And then you came up with 31. And I said, you're close. 5, 5.
No, there was a few times where it's just like you could hear voices and
I
stuff.
thought
And it's
the
just like
30
nothing.
when it was like 31.
Yeah, 31.
God.
Pray.
Pray. That was wild to me.
I went in with a completely clear
No, that's
mind,
good.
like,
That's actually
like nothing. So it's really
it's a great
weird.
experiment.
Like it's really weird to me to have that feeling of someone like right here in my space. That took away from the sense of I'm sitting in a room by myself and there's another presence right here.
Yeah,
And then it's gone.
that's actually cool. I've never heard of that before. That's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like I did a terrible job of explaining sort of the hypothesis behind how whatever it is able to communicate with you through the radio. Because I've never heard an explanation that made complete sense to me, because the fact is, fundamentally, like so many other things, we just don't know.
Correct.
Like I could sit here and say they can only communicate through different frequencies because they exist on those frequencies, or they're manipulating our consciousness, or they're manipulating the static through telekinesis to make it formulate, to make it form sounds or words or something that makes sense to you. But at the end of the day, I have no idea.
But you're right.
Who
And
knows?
The thing is, because I didn't realize I've been doing a lot more research on the quantum level now of the quantum physics, right? And that's one of them, is that everything is based on frequency and vibration,
Sure.
right? Everything, solid, us, whatever. So like you were just saying, because that question's been asked to me a long time ago about the spirit boxes, and people always said, well, how does it speak through it? That doesn't make sense. It's a man-made piece of machine, right? How is something outside our consciousness talking through that or communicating?
Right.
I can say being in that situation with everything else removed,
Yeah.
it was more a feeling of these words are going by, these words are going by, this one. Like it was a feeling in the gut where it's like, say that. Like, here's another one. Here's, none of this matters.
How many words were coming across like all the time? Did you sit there and ramble off like an auctioneer?
There was a good stretch where it's like, yeah, there was a whole bunch, and then it was just nothing at all. And then all of a sudden it would pop back in, and then nothing.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of them, but then it'd be a whole bunch, and like this one was much higher.
Right.
And that's the one that would register as you need to say this, and then
Well, because
it falls
one
back
of the
in.
bigger things is a lot of times people will say about the spirit box. Again, these are the devil advocates saying you could say anything and it would pertain to your life one way or another, no matter what word you said, right? And I'm just saying that's how somebody's going to try to debunk the words.
Mm.
However, like you were saying, I thought you were doing the right thing by just talking in it, asking. What was that?
Oh,
It's like a chain.
it did a little bit.
Like off a goat man's foot.
Yeah, right. Possibly some sort of B horror movie slasher.
Cool.
she's recording it.
Perfect.
But at the same time, Adam just said it. It's more on a feeling of being able to communicate that way. I think. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm speaking out my butt, but I really think it's kind of like. Did you ever see Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember he couldn't move the bottle cap
Mm.
because he couldn't do it with his hands because he wasn't there?
You gotta do it with your mind.
Right. And it was the feeling, that
Crazy
push.
subway guy.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's the same type of thing, the frequency that's picking up around here.
Mm.
I mean, who knows? What if every one of those words were pertaining to something that was around us, but not able to see us on this level, but can feel Adam because he's blocked off with sensors.
Well, because something in there, okay, whatever it was, if we were communicating with something, was asking us where we were,
Right. Where are you?
which was bizarre.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right, and so it certainly seemed, okay, it seemed like if I were to try to apply a narrative to this, as though the use of the Estes method acted almost as a form of ritual to contact, summon, and like restrain something into communication with us. And so at the very beginning, it was something sort of far away, and it didn't know where we were. It just knew that suddenly, like, we were trying to communicate with it. And then, like, it drew nearer throughout the conversation, and then eventually it was just like, let me go. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, so maybe that's exactly it. What if we weren't in its space, but you were in its space, and you were talking to it, and the whole prayer, and maybe they thought you were the ghost or entity.
Something, yeah.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of
is
a
weird.
reversal.
It's very, very weird. And the other thing, it seemed like they were saying there was something special about this place, specifically like the kettle. But I don't know. I don't know if that just meant that, like, there was something special about it because they were being brought here by us, or what the situation with that was specifically. I mean, obviously we'll have to go back and watch everything again, but
Yeah,
that was very bizarre.
yeah.
It got,
Felt very weird.
it was very weird. And it's always like, for me, it's always almost difficult for me to begin the conversation because you don't really know what you're gonna get.
Like this. How about that? Is that good?
Sure.
All right. So, the first thing... What, you could still see?
No.
Or you can't?
No, it was funny.
Okay, do it again. The first thing that I can recall just walking out there was that strange noise out in the distance when we were listening to the frogs. To me, reminded me of American Werewolf in London, but also kind of mechanical. So
yeah, I would say that too.
mechanical?
Like a mechanical wolf.
Yeah. All right. So then why don't you guys lead in from there, from when we walked and what we did.
Well, I was just talking to Adam, and for me, like, it was interesting because it didn't feel like anything was going to happen tonight. It just felt very calm and like whatever. And like when we sat down in the chairs, it was just very whatever. I feel like I get scared out here sometimes, and I just wasn't feeling it at all. And then we at the Estes Method.
Yeah.
This place definitely has a different vibe than all the other places we've gone to. Like Emily was saying, it feels a lot calmer out here.
Yeah.
Not as, I guess the best way to describe it, like not as long and daunting as the other places. This seems
Not
very
tense
like,
either.
yeah, this seems very like comfortable and like compact.
Right.
And I think that kind of like gave a weird sense of like comfortability to it.
I
which
can
was
agree with that.
interesting.
I did feel comfortable tonight. What about you, Tobias? How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely comfortable. I didn't get any of the eerie feelings or anything that can be so common, you know, in other areas.
And then we did the test, which
Well, we saw a light. We saw that light before that.
yeah, all right, good. That's why I'm glad we do this. Before we did your test or experiment, you can explain that again.
Sure.
Before then, both you and I saw a static, well, red or whitish light out there, right? It was just static. Am I right?
Yeah, there was an orange light that is probably on a building or something. It was like a stationary light.
But then you saw something.
I saw like a muted red light.
Yes.
And it was weird too because it was either multiple lights or it was like a weird shape. Because it was actually more, I would describe it more as like globular.
Yeah.
Than anything. But yeah, it was like a muted red, so it didn't seem like the red of like say like an IR light or anything like on our body cams.
Right.
And that was stationary, and then it just sort of disappeared.
Right. Now you said you lost it, and that's when I was standing in front of you looking for it. And when I looked for it, that exact thing that you were explaining moved from left to right through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
That I can tell you that I saw. That was bizarre because it wasn't a static light out in the distance. It moved. It hauled. Right. And then all of a sudden a possum showed up. And that's when we sat back and we did the test where Adam was blindfolded and handcuffed and which I thought that was a really cool experiment.
Yeah, it was interesting. So what we did was the in Estes Method session, and essentially what that entails is depriving someone of their senses. So you give them a light-proof mask and a set of noise-canceling headphones, like studio quality, you know, noise-canceling headphones. You don't want to use anything that like uses electricity or anything, or that has like electronic noise canceling, because that can interfere with the spirit box that it's connected to. And so, you know, we've just got these nice studio quality headphones that connect to the spirit box, and then it cycles through, you know, like, as the spirit box does, it cycles through multiple channels, and then the subject, you know, is listening for any words or anything, like any communication that sort of comes from underneath all of that radio chatter. And sort of the idea is if there's some sort of external intelligence, you know, like some sort of entity or being or something that can communicate through that, then they will be able to hear the questions we ask, but the subject won't. And so there won't be any confirmation bias or anything. So if there's something seemingly responding to our questions, then we could be reasonably sure that it's not Adam doing it, you know, because
Right.
Adam was our subject for this one. So it couldn't have been the subject doing it. It must have been something else. And so there are different hypotheses, I think, that people have regarding how it might be possible for something to communicate through a radio quickly cycling through different frequencies, and you know, some of the ideas, and nobody really knows for sure. So that's, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea how it works, if it works. It certainly seems to work. That's the important thing. But you know, some of the ideas are that, you know, perhaps, you know, these are entities or intelligences or something that sort of exist on these different frequencies and thus are able to communicate that way, or they're able to manipulate the you know, the radio waves or the those particular sounds or whatever into forming the words that they're trying to communicate, or they can manipulate human consciousness into interpreting random static in particular ways. There's a lot of different ways that it could potentially work, but frankly none of us have any idea.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. And
It is,
does
and
seem to get some weird results.
Right. And then Adam, so you felt like you weren't even in the woods anymore?
Yeah, when it first started, like, it was definitely noticeable. Like, okay, I have headphones on, I have a blindfold on, sitting here. But after just a little bit, it felt like I was completely removed from like the environment. It felt almost like I was in an empty room with like no wind, no sound, no nothing. And so I was sitting there and I was just kind of listening, answering with whatever words like it felt like I was supposed to say. It was kind of based on a feeling. But then after a while, it got kind of weird because it felt like there was like a female presence of some sort. Don't know what it was, but it felt like as if it was on my right side, kind of like looking at me, like very close. At that point where I was feeling that in this complete blacked out state where I couldn't see anything or feel anything, like I just like kind of visualized in that space, it just kind of appeared like this pink line, kind of looked like a Richter scale drawing. And when this, like what I perceived as like a female presence or whatever left, that line went with it, and then it was just kind of back to the scanning of the stations.
And you did look that way too, by the way.
It definitely. It felt,
you recorded, didn't you, Emily? That when he looked over to his right like that?
Yeah.
It felt like something was standing there, which was odd because during that whole time, like I said, I couldn't really feel anything except feeling like I was in this metaphorical room. But there was definitely felt a presence of some sort. That continued for a while, and then Tobias ended it by tapping me on the shoulder, which completely like pulled me back into reality, which is kind of frightening at the moment to have that happen. But
we caught that too.
Oh yeah, you definitely jumped.
It was an interesting experience. I went in with no preconceived notion of how it was going to go. I didn't go in thinking going to talk to spirits, going to communicate with the element of the woods or anything like that. It was this is a brand new thing I've never done. I'm open-minded to it. Still try to ground myself on what it is. So let's try it out, and something weird happened, whatever that is.
Well, whatever it is when we were leaving, we started walking back to the car, and you made mention about your ear. Yeah,
we were probably just a few minutes for walking, and my right ear, which is, I was thinking about it more, that's the side where like I felt that at, but as I was walking, like my ear just went completely, the hearing was just gone, like muffled to the point, and you get that tinnitus ring, that, and then it just like faded back in, and it was odd because that never happens. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, that was strange, and I told everyone, like, my hearing just went away.
Right.
Like, this is odd, but didn't really think anything of it at the time until...
Right.
I had the same thing happen to me, and it was really weird because, like, my ear felt kind of warm too, and sorry. But yeah, like like Adam described, it was almost like a thick feeling, and it was both of our right ear and mine. It just, you could hear that like buzzing and the tinnitus. It came and went really quickly. Just thought that was weird.
It is. I really do think it's weird, but it's great that we documented it while we were out there. And so after that, we just kind of made it back to the car, and that was it. But still a very amazing night, and it was great to be out again.
Yeah,
the four amigos.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say the three amigos, but we got to do this again.
Oh, of course.
All right, you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to roll down the windows or put on air conditioning?
It is so hot in here.
Yeah,
it is. I know.
Look at that window right
look.
there. Oh my god.
All right.
I'm dying.